Hello, and welcome to my presentation. My name is Wiseman Banda. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. And I would like to sincerely welcome you warmly for this presentation, the first of its kind. I'm actually the author of the book which I'm about to present, which is exploring poetry in Zambian schools, poems from kindergarten to grade 2. I should also mention that this presentation, it is also live on my YouTube channel, which is Read and Write with Wiseman. Once again, I want to sincerely welcome you for joining me now. The book, Exploring Poetry in Zambian Schools, Poems for Kindergarten to Grade 2. Why did I choose this title? What is embedded in this title is my first thing I want to talk about. Why I decided to give this title, Exploring Poetry in Zambian Schools, from kindergarten to grade 2. I should also indicate that this book, as we speak now, it's with the Ministry of Education. The minister himself, Honorable Douglas Yakalima, is trying to review this in order to see its content. But we have an indication of the 6th Republican President, Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu, to write the foreword. On the title, Exploring Poetry, what is it embedded in there? This indicates that the book is centered around the themes of discovering and engaging with poetry. It suggests that the content within this book will encourage its readers, particularly the young learners, to delve into the world of poetry with curiosity and enthusiasm. On the part of the title, which is in Zambian schools, this specifies the target audience and the context of the book. It is meant to be used in educational settings in the Zambian within Zambian boundaries, aligning with the content with the Zambian curriculum and the educational needs. It looks at the curriculum of Zambia, the culture of Zambia, and from there it is built. Why poems for nursery or kindergarten to grade 2? This means that the book contains a selection of poetry or poems specifically made for children in nursery, grade 1 and grade 2. It is age appropriate and it designed to meet the developmental and learning needs of these young learners. In short, I'm saying the title indicates that the book is a resource for introducing and engaging Zambian students or learners with poems or poetry in educational context, fostering a love for literature and creative expression from an early stage. So with that in mind, we are saying, in the heart of Zambian education landscape, a new chapter begins with this creation of this book. Because so far, there is a gap. There has been a gap for poetry, particularly looking at this target young age. So it is the heart of Zambian education landscape. A new chapter which begins with the creation of exploring poetry in Zambian schools, poems for kindergarten to grade 2. The visionary project emerged as a response to a distinct need within the early education setup. The need for captivating literary resource that bridges the gap between language, culture, and the creative expressions. I have collaborated tirelessly with educators, poets, and the other cultural enthusiasts who share the same goal of crafting a collection of poems that resonate deeply with the Zambian mindset. This book is a collection which embraces the formative years. I'm talking about the very young age here, aiming to instill a love for language, ignite imaginative thinking, and weave cultural threads into the fabrics of education. I should also remind you that this presentation is also live on Facebook, on Read and Write with Wiseman. So as the sun rises on Zambian diverse cultural heritage, this book shines as a beacon of linguistic exploration. It expands the national's linguistic richness, offering tapestry of verses that reflect Zambia's past, the present, and aspirations for the future. Every poem in this book, mind you, I've got more than 350 poems that resonate to the Zambian setup, that resonates to Zambian culture, Zambian education curriculum. Every poem is a getaway to celebrate indigenous knowledge, traditional tales, and the vibrant mosaic of Zambian life. Embedded within the verses is the understanding that poem or poetry is a medium of connection. It bridges generation cultural learning domains. From the bustling city streets to the tranquil landscape, these poems in this book provide a lens through which young minds can explore their surroundings while also sparking curiosity about the broader world. As teachers across Zambia, schools open these pages, they embark on an educational voyage that transcends curriculum boundaries. The book is not merely an academic tool, no. It is a key to cultural appreciation, creative empowerment, and the holistic development of Zambian cultural leaders. At this point, I would love to ask all of us that are listening and watching to mute our volumes so that we listen to my presentation. We put our volumes, our speakers on off so that we listen to my presentation. Then after some time, there will be a time when you can chip in with any question, observation, or things like that. I'm also saying that this presentation is also live on Facebook, on Read and Write with Wiseman. I repeat, exploring poetry in Zambia, poems for kindergarten to grade 2, is more than words on paper. It's a journey, an invitation to explore and celebrate of the beauty of language, cultural, and the boundless potentials within Zambian children. I repeat again that we are live on Facebook, on Read and Write with Wiseman, as well as on WhatsApp. So I would love to ask all of us that we mute our volumes so that we to So why is this poetry book important to young learners? Why is this poetry book important to children who are in nursery school, grade 1 and grade 2 only? Why is it important? Why should we teach poetry to these young learners? I've got 12 points why we need, as teachers, parents, and everybody, why we should teach poetry to our children. Number 1, we need to teach poetry to children because it's an early literacy foundation. It's an early literacy foundation. This book introduces poetry at a young age, which sets a strong foundation for literacy skills. It enhances phonemic awareness, vocabulary development, and comprehension ability, which are crucial for future academic success. Why poetry book to young learners? Number 2, language enrichment. Language enrichment. In Zambia, where linguistic diversity is a hallmark, teaching poetry exposes children to various language patterns, sounds, and expressions. This fosters language enrichment, benefiting their communication skills. Number 3, why we should teach poems to young learners. Nursery school children, grade 1 and grade 2. For cultural connection, poem often expands cultural stories, elaborates cultural stories, values, and traditions, as you see inside the book. In a country as a cultural diverse as Zambia, this book provides an avenue to celebrate local heritage, bridging the gap between traditional knowledge and contemporary education. Number 4, why teach poetry to children? Kindergarten, grade 1 and 2. It enhances creativity and expression. Creativity and expression. Zambian young learners deserve outlets for creative expression. There must be a way where our children can have expressed themselves. Poem or poetry empowers them to articulate their thoughts, emotions, and experiences in imaginative and unique way, fostering self-discovery. Number 5, poems build confidence. Poems build confidence. The act of reciting poetry in front of peers builds confidence and public speaking skills. Some of our kids might be MPs, maybe pastors, they need these skills. This newfound self-assurance can extend to other areas of learning and personal growth. Number 6, why we need poetry to young learners? It's for purposes of multisensory learning. I'm sure teachers, those of you who are in reception, middle class or baby class, or so to say kindergarten, grade 1 and 2, you must be familiar with the multisensory learning. Therefore, this book engages young learners with multisensory experiences in enhancing their understanding. The rhythmic and rhyming nature of poetry, coupled with visual aids, cater for varied learning styles. Number 7, appreciation of artistry. Teaching poetry nurtures an appreciation of the artistry of language. This can pave the way for an enduring love for literature, nurturing well-rounded individual who value creativity. Number 8, critical thinking. Why we need poetry to young learners is for critical thinking. Analyzing and interpreting poem cultivates critical thinking. Zambian young minds learn to infer meaning, identify literary devices, and comprehend deeper layers of text. Therefore, we have number 9, which is lifelong love for reading. I want to mention that it extends beyond the classroom. This love transcends into lifelong learning and intellectual curiosity. Number 10, teacher empowerment. This pioneering book, poetry book, equips Zambian educators with a powerful resource. You should know and agree with me that at the moment, there is no poetry book on the Zambian market that helps and builds the teacher with poems, or poetry, so to say. It is a powerful resource. It aids teachers in delivering engaging lessons, promoting active participation, and igniting a passion for learning. Number 11, cultural legacy. As the first of its kind in Zambia, this poetry book becomes a cultural legacy. It signifies the commitment to innovative education methods and celebrates the rich heritage of the nation. Education paradigm shift is number 12. Why we need this and why each teacher must have this booklet, this resource book. The introduction of such a total mark a shift in education paradigm. It demonstrates the progressive approach that values creativity, cultural, and the holistic learning. So therefore, I've said that this book is a resource book for teachers who are teaching early childhood, grade 1 and grade 2. Why is it so? It promotes Zambian culture. It builds language. It helps develop the language. Number 3, it builds reading and comprehension. Number 4, encourages creativity. Number 5, enhances critical thinking. Number 6, cultural sensitivity. Number 7, emotional expression. Number 8, social and emotional learning. Number 9, promotes love for literature. Number 10, supports the teachers who don't have a resource, as we said today. Number 11, encourages classroom participation. Number 12, fosters a sense of belonging. Number 13, aligns with educational goals of our Zambian curriculum. And lastly, supports literature or literacy initiatives. So I want you to draw attention to what is really in this book. What is this book all about? What is it contained? What are some of the components of this book? This book is divided into three major parts. The first one, it has poems that promote patriotism to the nation. It builds or it enhances children to have that mind of being patriotic to Zambia. Under poems about patriotism to the nation, you have poems about Zambian presidents, poems about Zambian 10 provinces, poems about the Zambian flag, poems about our Zambian motto, which is One Zambia, One Nation. It has poems about Zambia's lakes, major lakes and rivers. It has poems about our Zambian wonder of the world, which is Victoria Falls. It talks about the Livingstone as a tourist capital. It has got poems about Zambia's Independence Day. It also talks about Zambia's National Day of Prayer and Reconciliation. It talks about Zambia as a Christian nation. All these comes under the poems on patriotism. We also have got wildlife, tribes in Zambia. There are poems about family, Zambia's family life. It has got poems about heroes and the role models. It has got poems about the caring for nature. It has got poems about caring for natural resource. It has got poems concerning how to respect our senior citizens. It talks about cultural festivals, which is ceremonies in Zambia. It talks about mineral wealth. It talks about important Zambian independence holidays. It has New Year, weather, farming. All these fall under the first chapter, which is poems about being patriotic to the states. From there, you have the second one, which talks about poetic prayers. These, remember, Zambia has been as a Christian nation. We also try to inculcate the love for praying for others. For example, it has prayers for teachers, prayers for school meals, prayers for the school at large, prayers for our parents, prayers for our parents' jobs and the businesses. Remember, these poems are meant for children from reception, or meaning kindergarten, so to say, grade 1 and grade 2. In that regard, they are tailor-made to suit this mind which is just growing up, the mind which is just developing, so that age appropriate. After that, we have poems about the school life. Poems about the school life. These, under school life, you have poems that talk about school educational tours, school careers day, school lunch, science fair. Talks about teachers day, like we're having one in October. It talks about the pencil power. It talks about learning the alphabet. Talks about sports activities. Talks about health eating, exercises, importance of exercises. Talks about the colors. Talks about road safety. Talks about homeworks. There are poems which talks about learning with technology. There are poems that talks about books and reading. There are poems that talks about kindness and sharing. There are poems that talks about communication, talks about the month of the year, the numbers and counting, the school assembly. A lot comes under school life. Whatever area you may think of under school, Those are catered for in this poetry book. And lastly, the last part of the book talks about self-awareness. Self-awareness and my roles and responsibilities. Here, you have poems about self-awareness, which is about me, talks about my favorite toy, talks about bedtime adventures, talks about feeling thankful, my favorite food, growing up, birthdays, morning routine hygiene, good grooming, graduation, and the like. All these comes under the last part of the book, which is the third part of the book. So, I want to repeat that this book will be available for distribution starting on the 15th of October. 15th of October. 15th of October, this book will be available on the market. They will not have a online copy or soft copies. In the meantime, we only have got hard copies. For those people that are within Lusaka or within reach, definitely within Lusaka, they will be given, delivered at your doorsteps. Those who are in the outskirts of Lusaka, definitely we are going to send this book over to you. When we talk of that the book emphasizes on celebrating Zambia's rich heritage through poetry, we mean that the book features a wide range of poems that represent Zambia's various ethnic groups and cultural traditions. Each poem is a window into unique practice, stories, and language of different religions. I think that this book also looks at language diversity, but including poetry. We are also looking at unity and inclusiveness. Unity and inclusiveness. The book's diverse selection of poems promotes inclusiveness and understanding among students from backgrounds. It reinforces the idea that despite cultural differences, all Zambians are part of one large unified nation. Values and traditions. Many poems in the book touch upon shared values and traditions that resonate with Zambians. This poem highlights the importance of unity, respect, and solidarity in the nation's history and the daily lives. Reflecting Zambia's motto. The motto, One Zambia, One Nation, is embodied in the book's content. It reinforces the idea that Zambia is a national mode made up of diverse communities, all working together for the common good. Education and identity. The book's poems serve as an educational tool to help young learners understand their own culture, heritage, and the wider Zambian identity. It teaches them that embracing diversity enriches the national collective identity. In short, I'm saying, exploring poetry in Zambian schools, poems for kindergarten to grade 1 book, is a testament to the motto, One Zambia, One Nation. It brings together the diverse voices and the cultures of Zambia, emphasizing on the shared values and aspirations that binds the nation's people. Through the beauty of poetry, it celebrates Zambia's heritage while promoting unity and inclusiveness among its youngest citizens. Remember, I did talk about that we really focus on the 3 major goals of this book. 1, enhancing language skills. Number 2, cultural awareness. Number 3, creative and imagination. Why would we interpret that this book enhances language skills? Number 1, I did mention of vocabulary enrichment. The book exposes students to a wide range of vocabulary, introducing them to new words, phrases, and expression. Under language fluency, it engages with diverse poems, helps students improve their language fluency by practicing pronunciation and intonations. Writing competence. Writing competence. Exposing different poetic forms and styles encourages students to experiment their own writing, developing their composition. In Zambian schools, poems for kindergarten 2 The book will be available on the market starting on the 15th. Therefore, at the very end of this, I'm going to give out 5 books, free of charge, 5 books to the people who will be the first ones to leave a comment. 5 of them, I'll be able to give this book for free as we go on. Number 2, I'm talking about cultural awareness. Cultural awareness. How do we interpret this? It is by celebrating Zambian heritage. The book features poems from various Zambian cultures, showcasing the richness of the country's tradition, languages, and custom. An appreciation for preserving cultural heritage. Creativity and imaginations. Under this, we're trying to say expressive outlet. It's an expressive outlet. Poetry provides students with a creative platform to express their thoughts, emotions, and ideas in a unique and artistic way. Stimulating creativity, reading and writing poetry stimulates the imagination, encouraging students to think outside the box and explore imaginative ideas. You may get in touch with me via Facebook or on my YouTube channel or WhatsApp through the number plus 260-972-898-798. Those of you watching me on YouTube, please leave a comment, then I'll get back to you. For those of you watching me via WhatsApp, please leave a comment, leave a message, then I'll attend to it as soon as possible. We're saying this book stimulates creativity. By reading and writing poetry, stimulates the imagination, encourages students to think outside the box and explore creative ideas. It is also helps or develop critical thinking. Analyzing poetic devices and the themes in the book enhances critical thinking. It enhances critical thinking skills, allowing students to approach problems with creative and insight. What am I saying? I'm saying exploring poetry in Zambian schools is a valuable resource that not only fosters language development, but also promotes cultural awareness and creativity. Through the power of poetry, it empowers young learners to express themselves, understand their cultural roots, and they think creatively, ultimately contributing to their holistic development as individuals and responsible Zambian citizens. I'm saying this book, which will be available on the 13th of October 2023, it will be on the market. So please, those of you who like to get it, please get in touch with me, leave a comment or leave a message in WhatsApp or a comment in the comment section. Those are watching through WhatsApp, then I'll get back to you as soon as possible. The other important feature that this book has is that it has a chapter where it talks about how to use the book. How do you use this book? It has 15 ways how teachers, parents, or any adult can use this book. Number 1, it could be used by read aloud sessions, during read aloud sessions. Number 2, create a poetry corner in the class. You can use this book for recitation and the performances. All these are included in the book. They're part of the book. Number 4, illustrate poems. You can have the children illustrate poems. Or number 5, poetry journals. Children can have poetry journals. Number 6, poetry walk. Number 7, you can use this book by poetry collaborations. And number 7, rhyme and rhyme games. Use this poetry book for rhymes and rhyme games. Number 9, you can use this poetry book through theme-based poetry. Number 10, you can use this poetry under poetry competitions. I will be explaining point by point this on my WhatsApp channel, which is Read and Write with Wiseman, where I'll go into details of exactly how these could be used, how we can expand them into practice. Number 11, you can use poetry book by guest poet visits. You can have guest visit under this, or poetry assemblies. You can also have poetry and music. Number 14, it can be used as a field trip. And number 13, poetry wars. Remember, the goal is to make poetry enjoyable and accessible to young learners. Encourage their creativity, celebrate their efforts, and foster the love for beauty of words and the expressions. Remember, this book will be available on the market on the 13th of October 2023. This book will be available on the 13th October 2023. Therefore, those who need to order these books, please get in touch with me. You can leave a message for me in the comment section for those who are watching me on WhatsApp, or you can leave a message in WhatsApp, or those of you in YouTube or Facebook. So, so for now, I'm saying this book is quite important. It's the first of its kind. At this point, I'd like to read some few poems, a sample of some few poems that are found in this book. For example, I've got poems under the school life. Under school life, I've got poems that talk about homework. For example, homework adventure. A poem entitled Homework Adventure. Homework time, an adventure anew. With pencils and books, we start to pursue maths, reading, and stories to share. Homework is a journey, learning with care. So this is a sample of a poem under homeworks. There's also, I can also give another one under homework, which is homework includes stories to read, characters and adventures to heed. With each page turned, a world unfolds. Homework is a treasure, more precious than gold. This is a poetry that talks about the homework. How about a power pencil or pencil power? Let's talk about writing. Here's a sample of a poem that encourages students to write. It's called Poems About Pencil Power. From A to Z, a pencil's quest, writing adventures. We love the best. Words and sentences we create. Pencil's power we celebrate. Short, precise, and it brings out the best of the child as expression. Also, I want to sample another poem from under patriotism, and I'll look at poems talking about the Zambia's traditional ceremonies, looking at Komboka ceremony, Malaila, Nchwala, and Kusefa Pangwena traditional ceremonies. This one is about the Komboka traditional ceremony. The poem is titled Komboka's River Ride. In Zambia's lands, by water's slide, Komboka ceremony, a royal ride. Our boats, the king sails with grace, a colorful procession, a cultural embraces. This is a very short poem, specifically targeted for children in these categories: kindergarten, reception, or grade 1 and 2. I also want to sample a poem about Zambia's wildlife, especially the big five: lion, giraffe, elephants, buffaloes, and cheetah. This one is about the elephants. The elephant entitled Elephant's Majestic March. In Zambia's land, where rivers flow, elephants wander with his steps so slow. Gentle giants with the trunks that sway. Zambia's elephants, a grand display. Very short, precise, and with the ways where children could be able to manage them without a lot of panic and depression. So I would like to invite you, ladies and gentlemen, teachers, that you make a date. You must have this book, which has a foreword from the 6th Republican President, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, and the Minister of Education is about to write a preface for this work, so that it authenticates that this book surely meets the standards and it resonates with Zambians' curriculum from kindergarten, grade 1, and grade 2. I really want to sincerely thank all of you, ladies and gentlemen, for all these efforts. And for those of you who like to have a free copy to be sent to you, I mean only first five people. This book, the value of this book, for those who are paying before the 13th of October, is 210 kwacha. 210 kwacha for those who are ordering between now and the 13th of October, when the books will be on the market. Thereafter, this book is going to go for 250 kwacha, and it will be on the bookshelves of Book Heart, Book World at 320 kwacha in these bookshops. So please make a date. Please, for those who are watching me on WhatsApp, leave a message there. Get in touch with me on a private message there. And those who are watching me on YouTube, please leave a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I say thank you very much for your time. You would have been somewhere, but you chose that you listen to this presentation on the first of its kind. The book, the first of its kind on the Zambian market, called Exploring Poetry in Zambian Schools, Poems for Kindergarten to Grade 2, written by myself, Wiseman Banda. I really want to say a big thank you. I salute you, ladies and gentlemen. Until then, it's bye for now. Thank you. Have a blessed evening.